And welcome back to Straight Talk. So just before the break, we were talking about the Winter Carnival, and that's that's always a big thing in the community. But recently, another big thing in the community, and I guess it's the first, the money from the proceeds of crime, $183,000 that the Mohawk Council had got. Now that's interesting, isn't it?
It's a huge amount. One of the interesting things is I guess one of the questions is well, we found out you got a letter. You were informed by a letter from the council.
Well, from somebody.
From somebody.
I don't know from who.
Okay. From someone.
It wasn't the council.
Okay.
It was anonymous. Like these
These
never
things
received
they
something.
just pop out of the sky. I know what you mean.
It popped out of the sky.
But it was a front page thing, and the buzz around town is, when did they get this money? It's in the general fund, and they do talk about that. Mike DeLille talks about that. That's fairly normal, I guess. And they're also talking about using it for specific things. But one of the things is, what exactly did the money come from? Proceeds from crime? Was it Operation Cancun? Was it something else? I mean, that I don't think I didn't personally. I don't have a lot of clarity on that.
Well, I think that looking at the timeline that they're talking about, it couldn't have been from Operation Cancun unless it was from there, and they only made a decision within the time frame that they were talking about between I think it was March of 09 to April of 10, which Operation Cancun only happened in March of 08. So although that there was money seized in Operation Cancun, there doesn't say specifically where it is according to the letters from the government to justify with the money. The time frame that was in there, when I was looking at it, that was the same time, I think it was in June of 09 when they did the raid for the Operation Machine on the 207 on the Olszewski Road, when all the allegations in regards to the bikers, and there was money seized from there, and the Rices were involved. I don't know specifically in what part of that. You know, I don't know if there was any ties to drugs or anything else, but I know that they were arrested in that operation. Now there was money from that operation that were seized. So that's a time frame of the time frame that I look at from that. So is it from Operation Cancun, or is it from the Project Machine from that race? Because there was two within the last, within the 3-year period. So,
and I think for a lot of people, it's they want to know where it comes from. They want to know what operation. Therefore, like I said, like for me, first thing I said, well, if it's from Operation Cancun, that involved drugs, and then
so did the other one, though.
Okay, well, just that drugs are coming up a lot in the community. It's calling for drug awareness, drug treatment, drug this, drug that. Okay, so why don't we take the proceeds from the drugs that supposedly where it came from and apply it to that, to apply it, like we hear how often do we hear, well, we don't have the money to be able to, support this type of thing, support that kind of, so why don't we take the money that comes supposedly from that to help alleviate some of the pressure on
I
the
think
drug situation.
I think at the end of the day, there's a couple of questions. One is, does it matter where the money came from? It was involved, it was a seizure, and it was involved in illegal activity, and normally it stays within the court or the government system. It goes funneled right back into there. We never get it. I think this is one of the first times that Mohawk Council had applied for revenue from the operations in regards to proceeds of crime, which a lot of other municipalities try to do, but because sometimes they get it, sometimes they don't. A lot of the other police departments get a lot of that as part of their operational budget. Mohawk Council, this is the first time. So I don't think it matters where the money came from, or who it came from, or whose house it came from. It's a matter of it was involved in illegal activity, and finally we're getting something that we don't normally get.
All right.
So that's the good thing. I mean, we talked since the show started about the drug problems in this community. Every 2 weeks, there's always something that's coming up in regards to that. We had Carl on here talking about it, and now, and I've always said it the same thing. The only way that you're going to be able to deal with the drug problem in this community is to throw money at it.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have it.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see if Mike DeLille does something in regards to that, because at the end of the day, he's going to probably make that decision. But now, I want to see Mohawk Council put their mouth, or put the money where their mouth is.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give us lip service. Take the money and put it. You know what? Throw it back at the police, or give majority of it to the police, and funnel the rest towards education.
Some programs or
programs for education. That's where I think it's going. You know what? Buy another dog. You know, it's only a small piece of what, maybe 20% of what money that they have there,
Mm-hmm.
or less, that, you know, to purchase another dog and send somebody else for training and bring them into this community. So there's a lot of things, but I still think that the money came from there, that it should go 100% specifically towards the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of it should go to the police, and then the remainder, whatever it is, even if it's only 20 or 30%, should go towards the education of whatever programs are out there.
Right.
And if not, then maybe
Yeah.
create another program.
All right, but then if, like, for me, it's like, and coming from a background of prevention, I automatically think that that the money needs to be put into more prevention type of programs, as opposed to, again, this is just their personal opinions, right? So, but I need to see it, like, because prevention programs are severely underfunded. Mostly because you don't see the fruit of a prevention program for many years, and it requires a lot of money, a lot of man hours, a lot of investment. You know, and if the community, if the community can understand that and start funneling some of the money, at least some money, some seed money in programming to put it towards that, then that would be my vote.
And then that's the difference. You know, with somebody that's in prevention and somebody that's with a policing background.
Intervention, baby.
You know what? I still believe that you can go to give as much information as possible, but you got to stop the source somewhere, and that's police action. That's the only way that you're going to do it. You have to do something. You have to do something that is going to deter somebody else from doing it. You know what I mean? You have to do something that. You have to show the community that you're doing something other than just talking about it.
Right.
So,
You know, the thing is look, that the drug problem is not going to go away on its own.
no, it's not.
It's not going to go away.
It didn't start on its own.
Policing alone isn't going to solve it.
No.
Any more than it's solved it anywhere in North America for the last 50 years. Okay, it hadn't stopped the wars on drugs.
No, but
no, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of it.
But it's a concerted effort between prevention and intervention programs.
Yeah, and
You know?
the way to do that, but it's a question too of how do you do that prudently? I mean, how do you do that effectively? One of the biggest things, and I ran into Carl Horn. I went to a meeting at council, and I kind of wish he was there because we were talking about prevention. Some people were there from KSCS, but that particular part of it is a big, huge part about it. When you talk about kids in the community, is reduce the demand, and the only way you do that is by talking to them. I don't think the schools can do it alone. I don't think social services can do it alone. Parents have to get involved. The whole community has to get involved in that whole aspect of prevention to reduce the demand. If you decide you don't want to use something, there's no use. You could have all of it you want. I ain't gonna buy it from you. You know.
Yeah, that's the way I like to look at it. Is all right, like these problems are here and they're not going to change overnight. So what I like to do in terms of prevention is trying to prevent somebody from, or let me use a quote that a friend of mine used several years back. We don't want to have to pay for treatment beds. We want to prevent having to have those beds available.
yeah.
You know, so spend your money before so that we don't need, 30 or 40 beds per community. You know, we don't want to have to, because by that time 30, 40 beds is going to cost us several $1 million.
Yeah, it's
You
going
know
to
what
be.
I mean?
It's going to be a debate here,
and
it's gonna
invest
be big.
$180,000 in prevention, and maybe we'll get through it okay.
I don't agree with that, but we're going to take a
It's
break,
okay.
and we're going to be back right after these messages.